It's been a minute and a half, hasn't it? Well, you probably recognize this scenery. I'm back at my old stomping grounds. I had to return some receipts and invoices and documents and things like that I've collected for over the last 15 or 16 years when I worked here. Got to return them so he can do his taxes. I don't want to be like Biden and forgot I locked him in my basement. I had to throw that in, all right? Give me a break. Anyway, I'm going to try to update you guys as quick as possible in the little bit of time I have on what's been going on. There'll definitely be a second video on about the documentary, but this is going to be about primarily the emails and questions I've been getting about what my opinion is on what has been going on as of late at the LBL, which I've been totally out of touch. And I don't believe in coincidence. You know that. I think everything happens for a reason. And I just started going through the emails and was going to try to decipher what it was all about. And lo and behold, Bart Nunley calls, and he asked me basically the same thing. You know, what I know and if I knew and what my opinion was, which I didn't. And he filled me in about kind of what was going on and his opinion about it, and that he made a video on his channel, which I did go watch, and it's a good informative video. And I just kind of want to throw this out there from this is going to be my opinion only. And you know, my opinion is for some reason is the only one that gets crucified. It just seems like I can't win. But anyway, I'm going to throw it out there, and you people can either run with it or flush it. It's up to you. But any rate, I'll try to get to the meat and potatoes of it. I guess at the LBL, they had been doing what they call a hog hunt. And before I get too far into that, you know Shiloh Dawson by now, I'm sure, and she actually worked within I believe it's called the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources. I think that's the proper name, and that's who actually holds these hog hunts within the LBL. So she still has connections there, and did make some phone calls and got some information from her. And over the past few months, I've actually, I won't say I made a friendship, but I made a rapport with a person that actually works within the Land Between the Lakes parks right now. Okay, this gentleman is working there today, probably, unless he has a day off. And we don't hold no bones to each other. Okay, in other words, he doesn't believe what happened to me. Okay, he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe anything else that's been reported down there. We agree to disagree quite a bit, but we've come to a respectful rapport where we talk to each other on the phone. If I think it's bullshit, I'll call it. If he thinks it, he'll call it on me. So it's a, if you want to call it a relationship, it's a good one. Okay. And we've become a good enough acquaintances to where if something is going on down there and I have a question about it, I can call him, and he'll just won't close the door and talk softly or anything like that. He'll say, you know, it's bullshit, or yes, it's happening. You know, this is what we know. So these opinions are fact-based, but I'm still going to call it an opinion, okay? So you guys can, like I said, do what you want with it. But anyway, what's been going on at the LBL? Well, this is what I have found out. They have a hog hunt, and I don't know if it's bi-yearly or every year that happens at the LBL, and here is why. Is because people have been letting in or taking feral hogs or hogs and letting them loose down there. Okay, now they've actually caught people doing this. This isn't a government conspiracy. They're not taking hogs down there and letting them go in the LBL. So these supposable beasts that are roaming the LBL have a food source. what they were doing illegal hog hunts. So people, just like, well, not like you and me, but just hunters, were taking them, letting them loose, letting them get a little weight on them. They were watching them, where they let them loose, and then they would, on the, if you will, quote unquote, the hunter's dark web, advertise these hog hunts. Okay, they didn't specifically say they were in the LBL because they didn't want it getting out and getting back, and then they'd, be in trouble before they made their money, right? So they would take them out for a fee, hunt these hogs, kind of like what coon balls did with the LBL. Coonbo, I call them coon balls. He was taking people, he was robbing them their money by charging them for these fake tours, which was highly illegal within the LBL, and he was supposedly taking them where the attack happened, which is complete bullshit. But he made a lot of money off it, and shame on him. There's a special place in hell for people like that. But back to the hogs. They made a lot of money off these guided tours, and, well, of course, not all of them, not all the hogs got killed. Obviously, they couldn't find them all, so they just multiply like crazy. So they have to go in there, and it's actually held by like I said, the Kentucky Department of Wildlife and Fishery Resources. I think they're the ones that actually do it. They put it together. And I think this last time, this is a couple weeks ago, I think it was, they got like 300 hogs out of there. And the big shebang was, oh, here comes one of the cats that hasn't seen me in a few months. Anyway, the big shebang was, they were blocking off, the southern part or southern portions of the LBL, and there was a heavy law enforcement present, and here's where Occam's razor comes in, people. Sometimes it's nothing more than what it is, if you know what I mean, okay? It is what it is. And in this particular instance, that's it. There was nothing more to it. They weren't killing these hogs and leaving them lay, and, so the beasts of the LBL could feed. Just not true, all right? They were eliminating a nasty a creature that carries nasty diseases, very destructive, and they do attack people. A hog will attack a person, okay, and other creatures that are native to the area. So that's why they do that. They get rid of them, and it's just, like the Asian carp problem and the pythons down in Florida in the Everglades. I mean, you could get a dump truck load of them, and it's not even putting a dent in it. So that's what's happening there. There was nothing crazy going on. No beasts were caught. I had one person even say that, yeah, they found 2 dead bodies in there that were supposedly all mauled up again. So, same old. If it's the truth, people will kick it under the carpet. But if it's a good juicy, lie, I mean, they'll eat it up like eat up like candy, and it's just sad that it's not reversed, but that's the way it is. So that's it. That's all. There's no more to that. Now, Bart had also, and I want to put this in for Bart, he is only projecting information to us that he receives. He's not making any of this up. He's not twisting it, nothing like that. He's just letting us know what his supporters and viewers are writing in and telling him. And of course, if you've seen his video, you should go take a look at it if you haven't. It's about a scientist that's, I guess, real diverse in the LBL. He's been down there his whole life, kind of kicking around, and he was in this letter, he was talking about these vans and stuff that he'd come across, these mysterious white vans, and they didn't have actual plates. They had like barcode plates, or government, quote unquote plates on them. They weren't normal, and a lot of them, I guess. And I don't know what a lot of them means. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 or 10 or 20. But so I talked to this gentleman that I'm on a good rapport with that works in the LBL right now, And there's white vans all the time, but they're not suspicious. They're just people traveling through, visitors, campers, whatever. And as long as he's been there, they have never ever. And he kind of talked to some of his coworkers to collaborate with this and get back to me and confirm it or deny it. But nobody down there has ever seen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vans, possibly with barcode style plates and any kind of military looking personnel roaming around out there. Now, I'm going to get to the how would they know if they were down there roaming around part. Okay, you're gonna love this. Something I didn't know, and probably most of the researchers that's ever been down in the LBL don't know this, and I hope I don't get in trouble for revealing it. But I'm gonna tell you people. I've already told Bart, but yeah, they've never seen that. They said the only people they see down there that are in a military or camouflage, he says either the hunters, or he said, of course, the researchers. He goes, the researchers are always dressed in military-style garb, but they don't ever see them in white vans or in fleets of white vans or anything like that. Now here's the interesting part, okay? I've always wondered how they kept track of all the people that come through the LBL, where they come up with their numbers of how many visitors come through the LBL. And of course, it's the people buy their permits, they stop within the different centers, and of course they have the old style, hey, get out of the way. They have the old style counters, which are in the road. Those tubes that go across the road, and when you go over them, it's ding ding. It counts it counts the cars that go through, and of course they kind of have to give and take on the amount of clicks that go in there, because one car can go back and forth maybe 3 or 4 times. So, but anyway, this is the interesting part, and this is for the researchers should really think about this too. I mean, it's no conspiracy, and it's not that they need to be watching over their back or anything, unless they're going behind a tree to relieve themselves. But the LBL has a massive I wouldn't say hidden camera, but a camera system throughout the LBL. I'm not going to say how long it's been in place, but they spent a lot of money, close to $1 million, maybe a little over $1 million, to put these cameras in place. And obviously they're camouflaged and they're in certain areas, but there's a lot of them. There's not just like one here, one there. There is a lot of them. And the reason they did that was primarily to help with the head count, so to speak. The second one was to watch over the LBL. They have a horrible problem, and you guys probably know this, a horrible problem with meth heads and crackheads and just all kinds of bad stuff that goes on down there. People destroying property and just being genuinely not nice or good stewards of the land. So they use the cameras, this camera network, for that. But if you're within camera view, obviously you're going to get filmed. And he said you wouldn't believe the amount of researchers they have seen in there, and they actually, other than the kind of, I'm not trying to put them in the category, researchers in the category of the bad people, but he says they are a problem because they'll mark trees, they'll do it with axes, or they'll do it with saws, or to mark a tree where they want to come back, or instead of just using their video, or get used to the LBL like they should be if they that they claim that they're LBL experts, or they'll dig. He says the researchers that tear up land, and of course it's not hundreds of acres and crap like that, but they'll dig holes and dig up dig stuff up and flip it over and then not fill it back in. That's just not right. Leave it as you found it, okay? If you're a researcher or a research group, you should be professional. You should just know better, okay? So shame on you. So, like I said, the next time you're out there beating around in the timber, and you go back behind a tree to relieve yourself, look up. You might be being watched. So that's interesting. That's just another way that they keep a head count and an eye on the land between the lakes and certain parts of it. So. The other thing that I wanted to comment on was, and this gentleman within the LBL actually made this point, and it hits home. It's very true. It's really undeniable. Of course, like I said, he doesn't believe what happened to me or anything else that happens down in there, or people claim happened. And he said, with the amount of creatures or beasts that they claim inhabit the land between the lakes, north, south, east, and west, doesn't matter where it's at, there would have to be a body count every single day, 24/7, because they, even if there was, thousands and thousands and thousands of hogs down in there that the government would put in there to feed these beasts, which they don't do, that wouldn't be enough. If there is as many as they are saying of these creatures, these cryptids down in there, the people would be getting killed, attacked, literally on a daily basis, and it's just never happened. And another thing that he made a good point of is, cell phones and stuff are fairly new, obviously, but cameras aren't. Cameras date back to way back when, and there has never been a photograph taken of anything down there within the LBL. Stories galore, including mine, stories galore, but not one single shred of evidence that these things exist within the LBL. And he said, if these things truly existed within the LBL, they have a duty, they have an oath to protect the people that go in there, as well as the land itself. They would have to report it. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of those theorists out there, well, they're all linked together, and it's just, people are trying to find a way to keep the LBL a current, so to speak, to keep it alive. And there's nothing there. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't know that for a fact. But as far as the government, anything that has to do with the government itself, the government-produced, hybrid, experimental ones, no. There isn't any. Not just the LBL, there isn't any within the United States, period. There again, you can take that with a grain of salt, or you can believe it. That's up to you. Do your own research, like I say. But it's just not happening. Now, is that to say that there isn't something that's naturally born or just natural, I guess? I can't even think of the right word for it. That's occurring down in the LBL and other places with creatures or very well possible. That's very possible. That is happening. But I've, for the first time in a long time, I've actually gotten hate mail from my second to last video, maybe, claiming that I was now a government puppet, and I was actually working for the government, and I have been this whole time, and I'm actually keeping track of the people that are trying to keep track of the creatures. I was like, my God, come on, give me a break. I mean, I cannot win, people. I cannot win. But I do not like the government. I am not part of the government. Okay, I'm very familiar with a program that is within the government, but I am no part of the government itself. Okay, so what I'm telling you, there's nothing out there that is government sponsored, government made, and they're just releasing them out there. It's not true. that's really about it, people. I'll make a second video letting you know about what's going on with the documentary and things like that. But I also want to once again appreciate all the new subscribers that have jumped on board. Shiloh called me and let me know that, and I don't know what it's up to now, but she goes, "You got the mark of the beast. You got the mark of the beast. You got 666 on your on your channel." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I didn't know what was going on, and she goes, "Well, you got 666 subscribers now," and so I want to, whoever that person was that flipped me over the top there, gave me a 666 count. I appreciate you giving me the mark of the beast, eh? All right, guys. Well, that's it. Sorry this was so quick, but I hope to chat with you again. And like always, God bless, Godspeed, and I'll talk at you later.